Okay, now if we move on, the next thing we're going to validate is the enrollment date. So we're going to have a required field validator to make sure the user enters a value, and we're also going to have another range validator to validate the date within a certain range. Now at this point, rather than having to manually enter details for another required field validator, let's just select an existing required field validator, such as the first one, and copy it into the clipboard, and then just paste it here. So that saves us having to reset each of the individual properties. We just need to come into the property window and adjust a few of the properties. So let's set the ID to be enrollment required field validator, and let's just also set the control to validate to be enrollment text box, and we'll probably also want to change some of the error messages. So the error message should be enrollment date required, and likewise the text message at the bottom should also be enrollment date required. Everything else should be the same, so that saved us a little bit of time. That means we can now add a range validator here, and let's configure the range validator. So the range validator, let's choose the ID enrollment range validator, and let's set the control to validate. Obviously that's going to be enrollment text box. Let's set the display mode to be dynamic, and we will specify the error message. Now at this point we could have quite a long error message saying something like, please enter a date between the starting date and the end date, but I'll just put a simple error message, enrollment date out of range. Okay, now for the minimum value at this point you have to enter a date value, and I'm set up with a US system here, so I'll enter the minimum date in US format. So the minimum date will be the 8th month, which is August, and we'll say it's the 20th of August 2005. So this is the minimum date for the user to enroll on the course, and we'll set the maximum enrollment date to be the 12th month and the 31st day 2005. Okay, so between these two properties we've specified the allowed range of values for an enrollment date. We'll set the focus on error to be true, as always. Now the text message, I want that to be the same as the error message, so let's just come up to the error message. I'm just going to select everything in that line and copy it to the clipboard, Control C, and then if I just come down to the text and Control V to paste it in, enrollment date out of range. And finally, and importantly, in order to do proper date validation, we have to set the type. We have to tell it the type of value it's validating for range is a date. Okay, so I think that's done. Let's give it a whiz. Control F5 to run it. So for the enrollment date, first of all, let's try a good date. 8th month, 20th day, 2005. Let's see if that works. It does, that's good. Now let's try the day before that, the 19th of August, 2005. Ah, good. It failed. I was hoping that would happen. And let's put in the 12th month, 31st day. So this is New Year's Eve, 2005. Okay, so it takes that as a good date, which is correct. And now let's try the first month, the first day, 2006. So New Year's Day, 2006. And that's been detected as being invalid. And just while we're at it, let's just make sure that if I don't specify any date, then it traps that as well. Very good.